Peace of the gang, and welcome to Quit the Cat Podcast. Peace of the gang, and welcome back to Quit the Cat Podcast.
Yes, sir.
It's your boy BP alongside Bishop and
Yes,
PosiTiff. We're back with a brand new episode.
All right.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen?
Vibe check.
Vibe check. How you feeling, Bishop?
I am feeling ready.
Ready.
I'm ready.
He's ready.
Ready. I'm feeling ready. Yes.
Okay. PosiTiff, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. It's been 2 weeks. I miss my brother.
Yes. I've been holding information.
Yes.
I still been running my mouth though. But
Have you?
Look
Yeah.
at him.
Yeah.
Look at
I
your
miss y'all.
trainer.
Yeah, I miss y'all. Miss y'all.
Look at your trainer.
How you feeling, brother?
How you
I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling positive, feeling energetic, ready to go.
So, you matching again?
Right,
Okay.
Piece of the game, piece of the game.
So what do you do? So do you according to what color shirt you have, you be like, let me go ahead
I
and...
just be like, all right, let me see. I go pick the color shirt I want, and then I got the thread, and I just match the thread up with it.
Okay.
And it just go with
You
from
can
there.
do that when you're your own brand.
Listen, you could do that when you're your own brand.
And that's the fun part, so just mixing and matching, creating, and coming up with different ideas. So I just see a color. Like, I'm going to do paint. I see it in my head. I just got to figure out how I want to lay it down. But it's going to happen. I'm going to come here paint out.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, we live.
Support the brother.
Let's go.
Yes.
Piece of the game.
Piece of the game.
Let's go. Let's talk
So how
about
you
it.
feeling today?
Man, listen, I am, like I said, I'm blessed.
Okay.
We've been going for 2 weeks, and yeah.
Well, we were working.
Yeah.
We
We
still
were working
here.
Yes.
nothing changed. We ain't go nowhere.
Yes.
We just, we ain't go nowhere. Yeah, we have responsibilities.
Absolutely.
Larry Curly and Moet ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, I like
You know what I
that.
mean?
Go wet. Let's drink her.
Larry Curly
And
Moet.
Moet, we
right.
here.
That's cold.
We here. We locked in.
Yeah, so a lot has
Transpired.
a lot has happened, and I know a lot happens in everybody's neighborhoods. But we're talking about what you call the Central PA, or
Central PA, yeah.
So we're in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, because I know what we like to say is where we're at. And we did miss, and we had incident. It ended up making world news. It did make world news, and
This is the second thing this year from Harrisburg that has made the world news.
yes, it
What was
is.
the first thing?
Pow pow. Oh no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean
Okay. Continue.
Anyway.
Why did you do that to yourself? That's my sound bite. I be saying that all the time. I cannot help it. I sound bited that, yes, because I feel like that's the craziest response that a person ever could say. Like,
Back on task.
Right,
Back
right,
on
right,
task.
right,
Because,
right.
woo, baby.
That bores me every time. Why did you do that to yourself?
Damn.
All right, but, so there was an incident.
Jesus.
That was a tragedy that has taken place. Now, and I want to say, this is just conversation. This is opinion based, and what we're saying, it doesn't sway either way, but we are allowed to give our opinion and our take on the situation, and we're allowed to assess how we feel about the situation. And I will let you give clarity on the situation because I know about it, but I heard things from students that go out there. I heard things from parents, and I have my different takes on, because I am one that we have a situation, but there's roots on both sides, and I have my opinion on when I say blacks, because I don't care where you could be, Jamaican, African, whatever percent we are, we black. Especially when you come to America, you hear and you wear the label. You one of us, regardless if you want to be separated. One of us, if because people that come over, they hear that stay away from American blacks. They're not this, and a lot of people come over and they try to alienate themselves or try to differentiate themselves from us, and that's a culture thing. And I think in that, and this is where I'm going with that, in them culture blurred lines, I think people truly forget, and I'm going to say it this way, who the enemy is. Anyone that comes opposed to your belief or your skin color or your over well-being of your family, they're the enemy. And anyone that try to harm your children or harm you because of your race or harm you, period, they're your enemy.
Right.
And don't be deceived in that, because sometimes the enemy looks like you.
Oh yes.
So let's preface that. And when we begin to talk about culture, and the young man Justin Johnson, this is where this conversation is stemming from. And like you said, we always say, we have our opinions on stuff, but the reason why we decided to come together as a podcast is to raise that level of thinking and have those tough conversations again, because that's what happened with us when I first sat down with y'all the first time. We had a tough conversation, but we had a real conversation, and we just much needed. And we're coming to a point where there's conversations that need to be had in our community about certain things, and people are not having those conversations.
Right.
And, agree or disagree. Like you said, you don't have to agree with everything, but be willing to open your mind and have the conversations, because that next generation needs us to have those conversations to clarify stuff.
Yes.
So based on, what you were saying, this young man lost his life, and this senseless game of tag, per se. Yeah, per se.
Air quotes.
Yes, very big air quotes. And again, and I'll say this, because this is a young man, very young age.
Yeah.
He was 16. He turned 17 on the 30th, so
That's
just
crazy.
shy. Yes, and it is.
That's crazy, man.
We want to place the blame somewhere.
Right.
And I get it.
Right.
I get it.
Right.
But let's have the conversation.
Yes.
Let's have the conversation and make sure, again, that, not even placing the blame in the right place, but just having an open conversation, because a community was impacted.
Yes, absolutely.
This young man's father was, but a community was impacted. And I've seen conversations over the last 2 weeks. Now, my son graduated from there. My son is a graduate of that school.
Me too.
Okay. That particular school?
I went there when there was only 4 of us. So I know all about that.
Okay.
There was 4 of us.
Okay. So my son is a graduate from there. And my son was on the football team, and and we'll go from this. So when I heard about it, I'm not even gonna say I've been holding this, but my son was a graduate from there, and his last 2 years he went to school out there. And what was ironic was his senior year, he had an incident where he got in trouble in a class. He said something to a teacher that was disrespectful, and the teacher called me, and she told me the situation, and he ended up getting in-school suspension for it, 3 days of in-school suspension. But, he realized afterwards he was wrong. He went back, he apologized. But yet and still, he got to serve. And I wasn't upset. I'm like, it's his senior year. He was in a place where he had to take some classes in the morning. He was co-op, but it is what it is. And she explained to me, she was like, that was out of character for him. He explained he was having a bad day. Okay, that's fine. The principal calls me, because, it's that chain of command. So the principal calls me to discuss this in-school suspension. The principal was a middle-aged black man. He was once a principal in the city, and he went out to that particular school.
What? We can't say the school.
And
that's what I was wondering.
we can say the school. I'm not trying to protect that.
Yeah.
But he called me, and when he called me, we're having a conversation, and he said to me, he was like, he said, I see your son, every morning pulling up in the BMW. And that kind of, so, the conversation goes on, and it's crazy how all these years later. That's strange,
because out there,
you see where I'm going. You see where I'm going. So, woo, baby.
Why is the black man pulling up in the
But
BMW?
yes. So, and that's
I got a reason
and that's what he said to me. So when this happened to this young man last week, and this comes out, I'm not attached to it in any way, but it raised something in me of a conversation that still needs to be had. Because when this principal said this to me, who is a black man, we can't have black kids that go to school in BMWs, but if we saw a white child doing it's the norm. He
just matches his surroundings.
Right.
Because it's not uncommon to go to that school
and drive.
And see high-end vehicles.
Yes, in the parking lot. Yeah.
But all of a sudden,
and those ain't teachers; those is the kids.
Right. Yeah. But this caught your attention.
That's crazy.
So when this happened with this young man, you know, and I went out to the vigil, and that's one of the reasons why, because, you know, I love to have conversations. So, like, now I'm in a space where I'm like, you know what? We need to have a bigger conversation about the culture at this school district. Because why are we still having conversations where black people can't go certain places? You know what I mean? Where black people can't belong. So this young man, and this is what I noticed. If you saw the videos, you saw the house, you saw all of this, you saw a Range Rover in the driveway. You saw a black father who wanted better for his son, and that's what he thought he was doing. Like, that's what he thought he was doing. When will we start to accept as a culture, as black people, we belong?
No, we do belong.
We belong.
We absolutely
You
belong.
have a right to live in the suburbs. You have a right to live where you want to live. You don't. I just said something to. I don't necessarily, because I don't want to live in the city and hear gunshots all the time. That's our culture. Because, you know, you choose to move somewhere else because you don't want to hear the gunshots, because you don't want to see the makeshift memorials. Oh, you think you better than, I don't think I'm nothing. See, I work too hard for that.
And I like that, and I'm
sorry, y'all.
I agree. But what saddens me is, why can't our neighborhoods be like
that? That's what I'm saying.
So that's a situation.
Yes.
But for me, right, I hate
because
the
we're
illusion,
okay with crumbs.
because I feel like we're still some people are still in that mentality, and it's still abroad. It's in like I train clients that's from Jamaica, West Indies, and I hear the words and the things, the language that's used about when you're on your way to America, and what to look out for, and what they strive to, even over there in those countries where they still idolize. I promise you, like, I hear people all the time, I'm gonna go over here. Listen, those the what word do I want to use for them? The colonizers have that stronghold in those places. I just was in a thing with my kids where a guy, he's from Jamaica, and he said he don't know if he want to be here or when he go home, it make him miss here. He said, at least here I can deal with the fact that I understand what racism is, and I see it. But over there, they're so blind to it because the monarch, the queen is still the ruler. It's on the money. It's still European descent. Like, they still, you see a lot of black men with white women. You see that white is still idolized as who you want to strive to be like.
But we're blind to it too.
I am. I'm getting it. Yes. So here, it's this thing where it's not just that we're invested.
Yes,
we're invested. We're so invested, right? It irks me because I see that we are blind to the ignorance. We are still being the tail when we're the head. And I feel like when you, like, it's an illusion. Because you can see that the illusion of you think you know but you don't know. Because and it pains me because a lot of people, like the Vuittons and all these people were murderers of your people, but yet we still stand and we hold bags and we wear belts and we let the stars who they pay to wear the stuff brainwash us into thinking that this is a part of our culture, and our culture is always lacking because now our culture is killing. It is drugs. It is our women being called hoes and being it's so polluted, man, that it bothers me because I look at so many people that is intelligently dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah.
And there's co-signers to it.
Yep.
And then we get into this rally and cry and wanna protest and they're being racist, but we allow.
Yeah.
We allow it.
We allow.
Because we stopped showing up.
Yeah.
Do y'all remember George Floyd?
Yeah.
Are we still angry? Are we still angry?
I think we
I don't
forget.
think nobody even remembers.
Hello.
Listen,
Remember the anger.
Do you remember that whole era?
I feel.
Remember the anger. So where did the anger go? And that's what I'm saying. Like in our community, I do not want to allow this young man's life to be in vain. I do not want to allow this young man's life to be in vain. I have an idea of what these conversations look like, but he's not a media bite.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It should
We
be way
can't
bigger
come
than
out.
that.
We can't come out, for these moments and have these vigils and say we showed up, and then next April on his birthday we showing up again. What about from this April?
What
are we doing in between?
What about tomorrow?
Right.
What about tomorrow?
What about next week? Because we cannot forget. This is why I feel like, and I said the 7. I said 7. What do you know about racism? What have I made you aware of? And not to go into detail, but he's aware. Like this is a thing where us as black people, we have to teach to a point, because I don't care what nobody said. We can argue about it. You want to? We ain't create racism. We'll let you step on our back, get up, dust ourselves off, and still help you up. We do that all the time. We allow people to abuse us, use us, hurt us, and then we'll sit there and rally for them and pick them up. We'll even sing Kumbaya. They be like, if we can get them to rally with us, then we're on their side. We aid the people that hurt us, and we've been doing that ever since. We've been doing it ever since. So it's sad that we got to have this conversation without even making our kids Oh, come on now. We got to have a conversation with our kids without even making them racism that somebody doesn't like you because of the color of your skin.
Simple as that.
You understand?
Basic
So
shit.
then, so even in their cultures, right? I can just imagine at a white table, they're not discussing their privilege. They're not discussing because it's comments that's going to show, because the world, we ourselves show that we the tail. So then they can be like, oh, look at them.
Right.
That's
why they act that way.
But they're not going to say, hold on, that they're a product.
Right. No.
Of
American,
this condition
of America.
Yes, because our first teachers, and even Frederick Douglass said, was the white man. We didn't even know how. Like it was when they freed the slaves and they were coming up in 1864. Coming up, you know what? The black slaves that was in the North that was always free. What y'all doing up here? Why y'all even coming?
And we still have that.
Because it was already conditioned that y'all special because y'all up here and y'all free. So all this conditioning, so now we ploy against each other for this class, because they created class, they created race, and here we are a product of that, where we reject ourselves. So we got to have these conversations without making our kids blatantly hate white people in the system that you structured. Right. Because we gotta be passive with it, so that we're not creating somebody that's just running around blaming white people, because they are a part of the system of how we think. But we gotta train our kids not to. But I can't leave you deceptive, because I went out there and my mom never said, be prepared for this, because I've been around my own kind until I got shipped out there. And then I don't even know. I look at it now. I didn't even know what a primate was, and somebody wrote it on my locker. And magic marker, and I remember finding out what it was, and I remember going to the I remember clear as day, and they had the janitorial cleaned it off. I went to my mom and I found out what it was, and then I came back to school. Oh, he ate books that next day, and I got suspended because when I found out what it was and where it was headed, I became the menace. Because not that he's a black kid trapped in here with all these white people and the system. No, it was that I was angry. Right. But I'm in here.
You're not angry.
But that's how I was labeled. So when you start to hear that condition, and then you're seeing that from 9th grade, 10th grade, this is what and you're walking on pins and needles, and people can just say what they want, and you hear the malice, and you still have to adjust because in your mind, your mom's telling you this is the better education.
Absolutely,
this is where you're gonna be able to focus. You're gonna be able to, for whatever schooling reasons. And when you look at it, like, this is all the stuff we have to prepare our children for. We don't just get to prepare them for life. And I think when you move into these neighborhoods, you got to look at it always like this. You're trading one for the other. Mm-hmm. You're not totally safe, because even if you can't walk out here at night, you still can't walk out here at night. So everywhere you go, you are in that balance.
No matter where
it's a great thing, but it's a very difficult thing, because, like you said, you have to figure out how to walk that tightrope.
Mm-hmm. You remember?
Yeah, you know it. If you don't know how to walk that tightrope, you'll be killed either way. Because if you come out here, I ain't from the hood, you know what I mean? But I know how to operate in the hood, and I'm from the suburbs, and I don't give a damn about them white folk, but I know how to operate amongst them too. If you don't know, and I like both of y'all points, but I feel like it's up to us.
That's what I was going to say.
It's only up to us. I don't believe in relying on, like you said, the enemy to teach us anything, to guide us. Like you said, it's up to us to make our children aware.
Right. Yeah.
Because I didn't know about a lot of stuff.
Right.
And then when I get older, I'm like, I used to think the Civil War was like the greatest war because it freed the slaves.
Right.
And I'm like, yes, the Civil War. I'm so interested. And then I found out that ain't have a damn thing to do with it. Right. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
America really don't give a damn about us. And we fight for America. We love America. We don't even, I know I don't feel American. And that's a sad thing to say, because I ain't been nowhere else.
Right.
But I don't feel American. I don't feel like I'm accepted. I don't feel like I'm wanted by my people or the enemy.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
Like, hey, you know what I mean? It's like, you don't feel, you like, man, I gotta look at bro, and is he a op?
Yeah.
I'm looking at the white dude. I can't trust the white dude, because I know he about to just make up some shit and just be like, he was scaring me. I was so nervous. The big black guy. Like, so it's like, this is America, man.
And that's the truth.
And this is the truth.
That's the truth.
I'm not making none of this stuff up, people. If you black and you a black man or a black woman, you know what it feels like. You know what it feels. I remember being a high school kid. I went to school at East. I played football at East. I didn't play the last game, and I'm walking out, and we play Harrisburg. He's like, white guy, I'm in the program. I've been there all season. White guy says, oh, you go to Harrisburg? Mother, nigga, I look inside your program, dog. You will see me right there. They got a picture of me. But because I'm black, you went to Harrisburg, but then you talk to black folk, bro, you know what it's like when we be locked up and you be hustling and you know.
I don't.
No, I don't, man.
I don't
know what that feels like.
No, I don't.
I don't, dog.
No, I don't.
I'm sorry, I don't know what that feels like.
I don't.
I don't feel bad about it.
But why are you sorry for it?
No,
that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't have to be sorry because you ain't never went to jail.
Yeah.
No,
you don't have to be sorry because you're a good father.
Right.
But that's what we don't hear in our culture.
Right. That's
we don't
the problem.
Hear that. We don't hear,
that's
again,
not what's being pushed.
You get to drive a BMW to school at 16 because you get to.
Right.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that?
Right.
But then on that same note, when my son was in Harrisburg School District, because he started out at St. Stephen's and he talks proper.
Right.
So when he got into Harrisburg, so what you just said about that fitting in, when he got into Harrisburg School District, he's in middle school and somebody spray paints outside his name and is gay on the sidewalk. His principal took him out there to see it.
Why ain't they clean it up?
A white woman took him out there to see it.
We know that.
And calls me. And and I live right down the street. I went up there furious. Why would you take him outside to see that?
Yeah.
Why would you take him outside to see that? Yeah. Because see, as a white woman and who I was at that time in the position, see, you think you're belittling me. You think you're hurting me because of who I was. But you don't realize you're hurting him.
Right.
You're hurting him.
And he don't deserve that.
And he don't deserve that. So just what you said, and what you said, sometimes the hate, and we have to have those conversations with our kids, because I am striving to provide better for you. And I always say, build their mind up. Make our kids think. Make our kids think. Don't beat their body down. Make them think. Because when you make them think and you show them how to think, they become even more dangerous.
They're super dangerous.
They're super dangerous. And we don't understand that. Sis,
Yeah.
I got food stamps. Get off the food stamps. Work your way off of the food stamps. Work your way off of Section 8. That is not a badge of pride.
Right,
Understand that.
Right.
Understand that.
We'll
be in a minute. Oh, I wish I had some food stamps. Work your way out of that.
Yeah.
I got food. I remember I got $494 a month, and I was buying a house, and that was good.
Right.
But it wasn't meant for me to stay on.
Right.
It wasn't meant for me to stay there, and
It's a
until
help.
it's a support.
Yes, it's a support.
Well, no, it's a help because help. Yeah, you stay in it, but
right.
Until we work ourselves out of that mentality, until we say home ownership, like we said, how does the city? How do we? Home ownership, until we take pride
Black education
in education.
You know what I mean?
I think we sleep.
We are. We absolutely are. We're worried about everything else.
Or somebody gives us a little bit and we good. We are not okay with the.
That's why I feel like it's I in my soul, man. Because for me, I can always say, like, we had a house out in Nice Road. So I know with, like, and my uncle's in the NFL, I know about houses, mansions, developments, you know, out there. When you live in the mansion, it's a little bit more space.
Yeah.
You ain't really got it ain't really the community, like, when you in the houses that's, like, out there and then the next house and then the community commission, everybody's roof got to look the same and all that stuff. I know what it's like. I know what it's like where... and not say this because I've been in that field. I know not even if every white person is not racist, they're still not aware. Right,
they're not aware.
And we become to this point where I tell people all the time, like, do they care or do they feel like they're like when I hear people, you know, that, you know, associate with white people, they're doing this, or I even hear some, you know, people like their son might date a white girl and the family's real. They be like, oh, the family's real good to him, and and they just love him, and he's just they treat him like he's their own, and I be like,
he's a good one.
Because sometimes people do that. I hate that. He's a good one.
He's a good one. That's the worst.
In their mind, they feel like they're giving back and they're helping us for something.
Yep. But still never acknowledging the problem. Never acknowledge the problem.
But you feel like if I take one in and I do something for him, if I allow my daughter to
how
date
could I
him,
be racist?
Then I'm not racist.
How could I be?
Even the stance where I seen all the white moms was like, I got a black son.
That's what I mean. I got a black son too. Man. And at any given time, he's a target.
I feel some type of way. I got a black son.
I knew a white woman with black kids, and she called them Africans all the time. I mean, she did.
There's, you know.
I thought this was funny, but it was. She did call them Africans all the time.
Depending on the shade of your skin, you ain't going to be able to hide on the other side.
That's why I love y'all, because we got to break the monotony. And it's always him that breaks it. We got to laugh, because if we don't, we'll be sitting here crying. But, you know, it's funny that you say that because...
Like it's
always this one.
But it's always
this one, people.
It's how we weigh it.
It's always
because
this
when
one.
it became the condition, they be like, I don't hate gay people. I got gay friends.
What do that mean?
I got gay cousins. Yeah. Listen, you're okay to be against something and still have
people that's part of that crowd.
To your point, there's a mother, and I was just having this conversation long before all of this came about, and her children are mixed, and her children were conditioned to, even though they don't, now that they're older, to hate that black side of them.
Really? Yeah, something like
because as a white woman, like that's how she conditioned them. Like the black people were bad until you know her kids got older and like wanted to find out about that other part of them. So when you say what you say,
that's real.
You know,
especially the hatred cup.
Yeah.
My language, y'all, I've tried to keep the N-word out. But when niggas do nigga stuff to white women, and white women are hurt by that, my goodness. She gonna train them. It's gonna be something they're gonna be so far
and it's
attached from
every black man.
Yes,
from their culture. I remember this kid growing up. He was mixed, but he didn't know his daddy. So he thought he was racist. Like, he really didn't like black people. But you could tell he was, like, he looked like a dirty white dude. Yeah. Because of his tint. But...
Wait a minute.
It covers his tint.
How many percentages was it? The legal tip.
Oh my God! It was.
Could he drive through the
No, yeah, he be cool in Pembroke. Like he was good in Pembroke. He had no problem. But he really didn't like black kids. He hated the rest of the black kids. But yeah, he was.
Please take us seriously, y'all, because we are dead serious.
This is super serious.
It's heavy.
You
like
gotta
you gotta
find
laugh
some humor in the craziness in this world, in this crazy world that we live in. Because if you don't, you will go crazy. But yeah, he didn't like black people, and I thought that was crazy. But because he didn't know his dad or whatever, his mom. And that's who loved him, and that's who fed him. And he said, "My mama white, I'm white, and everybody around me white." But he tinted a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like.
And let me ask you a question. Yeah. So when you were there, this is another thing when you look at the culture of that school district. So there was a time where that school was in a more predominantly black area, the high school. Yes. Yes. And you had several projects that were assigned to that school district. Right. You had several low income housing developments.
So I want to say on that part. I was
Can I
there.
ask my question?
Okay, go ahead.
So when they drew the line, and when they moved the school around all the line goes.
The line is crazy.
The line is crazy because it includes there's no low income housing out there anywhere.
Yeah, no.
And then you have another high school that's in that same school district where you went.
Yep.
And you have young black people
black kids
who are confused, and this is why I say this, because even the black high school in that school district is very affluent.
Yeah.
But you have black kids in there who don't know whether they are city kids or whether they are because my I'm just saying it because my husband coaches basketball out there. I've had this conversation with the team before. Unfortunately, you have kids who y'all ain't quite Harrisburg City black kids, but y'all ain't Pikestown Road kids.
Yeah.
You still are afforded all of the stuff that the Pikestown Road kids are afforded, but they still treat you like you are Harrisburg per se kids. So y'all confused. Y'all don't know where to fit in.
I went,
and
there.
It's sad. It's sad.
I went there before they made that line, because even when it was on Locust Lane, when I first got there was only 4 of us. Like when I came in there, you had Richham, who was a senior, and then there was like sprinkles of like foreigners, and you had the not the Moroccans, I can't think, the Bosnians, and you had certain little Asians and different things like that. But so when I was there, I know they was bringing them in from Halifax, Perry County. There used to be about 6 buses that pulled up from so deep that I'm talking about at this time. This is where you could still, the skinheads used to have the skinheads, the squat, the tattoos. They still wore the chains with the on their belt. They had the boots with the white shoestrings. They were like when I'm talking about, it was like full fledged. You can show that you were
a white supremacist.
If you can wear, I remember they used to wear the patches. I remember you could see the skinheads. You could see the farmers that wore the skaters, on their boot, the skaters. So you got to see all those demographics, and it was like a culture shock to me, because I was just like, okay, like not prepared for it, but I went into it. And then I remember when they made it where they started busing like alternative kids there. Certain kids from Harrisburg started popping up. Then you seen like I don't want to call it diversity shift, but like Section 8 started to come out there into like Glenwoods. Was it Glenwoods?
Pennwoods.
But what's the other one? Glen Manor or something? So it started to change.
Glen.
Colonial Glen. So it started to change. So then I remember by like 10th grade, there was more of us. So it started to build our own community. We had our own community, even where the foreigners would be able to be in our community. And then it was whatever white people, allowed you to be. But I remember I used to get invited to all the parties. I would get, because I was the cool black kid. Like, I was the kid, like, we want you to be there. Like, it was that type of thing. And I'd go to these little functions, and I got to see that, it's class that separates the money, but there's just as ignorant and just as mom's on drugs, taking pills, dad never home, he running around doing. So you got to see that their family life was just like us. It was a bunch of kids.
It's not worse.
The suburbs is just quiet. That's it.
So you get to see how we'll get judged, but it was kids raising themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew kids that they ain't even see their mom and dad. They was away on trips going. We'd go to their house. It'd be empty, big house party. They in there doing all things. I remember, forgive me now, I said, I remember introducing crack to them.
You made a living. You made a killing on them.
Why not?
You sold
I
some
remember
crackers.
to high schoolers.
Crack the crackers.
But
Crack
listen,
the crackers.
that's how it went. Like I capitalized on. I seen the. So it became like, okay, now it was more of, I got this, because I started seeing, and then I was, my mom went to segregation. She's from the South, so and that's what I say about not imputing ignorance, because she could have been like, oh, they do this, watch this, and da-da-da, and I came in there full-fledged. I see you, she didn't want to prime us for nothing and let us experience, you know what I mean? Right. So, like, I was in there before my little brother, so I basically, like, paved the way for that. But like the confrontations and the things, like even that situation, it was a situation out there that had happened where we got in a fight with these skaters and this whole thing happened. I brought some people from Harrisburg. We whooped at Colonial Commons. It was a whole spur of cops, everything. And one of the kids killed themselves. He left a letter, and it made it like he was the victim. I promise you, he was one of the most racist people, but he had issues, whatever the case may be. But he left a letter. And I remember in the letter it was stating about what was going on with us, because it was like, it was a yard out. And I remember them calling me in the office and telling me that I had to go home because they were upset. I promise you, I wasn't suspended because the altercation of the fight happened at Colonial Park after school. This had nothing to do with school.
Right.
Him killing himself. The school was mourning and everything. I come in, everybody's crying. I'm like, what's going on? And I remember people in the kind, this is all like, and it was like, and they called me to the office. And I remember I got called to the office. I was home for 3 days because they needed to mourn. I swear to goodness.
So now I'm gonna bring us back around to what brought us to that. So the people who were responsible for what happened to Justin.
Yep.
The school had a responsibility.
Yeah.
Because people acted like they did not know who the students were.
Right.
You had students diming them out on social media, names and all.
Right.
You had an opportunity, and you sort of kind of dropped the ball.
Sort of, kind of.
Sort of, kind of.
Sort of?
Yeah, sort of, kind of. And why I say sort of, kind of is because you went about it. You tried to address it, which, superintendent said what he said. That was great. But you had a principal, and that's why I say sort of, kind of. The superintendent did what he should have done as far as a statement. But you had a principal in the school. If nothing else, y'all have a responsibility to have a conversation with them kids.
Yes, you gotta sit them
because just
down.
like you just said,
I got sent
just
home.
like and that's what I'm saying. Just like you said, that didn't happen at school, but that's where it transpired from.
Right.
That's where y'all common bond was that school.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they dropped the ball. Y'all had a responsibility. Y'all know who these kids are.
Right.
Even if it's not criminal.
Yeah. We the only ones that
you have a responsibility.
They're protecting their own.
You have a responsibility.
They're doing their responsibility.
You know who these kids are.
They did their responsibility.
No, they have. No, they have not.
Listen, they protected their own.
No, they have not.
Listen, I see what you're saying, but to them, they feel they did.
But you have a community. You have a community who still has a voice. You have a community who is still hurting. And it's crazy how the community's voice is louder as a whole than any principal, than any student. For the sake of this young man's family, this community, the people who are out there besides those kids who go to school, black, white, or whatever, you still have a responsibility.
Yeah.
Like, don't get this wrong.
Oh yeah. So
don't get this wrong.
I feel like I agree, but I feel like, in a way, if it's our community, because there's a separation of community. See, they're okay if blacks in the city are uprising because it's black. You know what I mean? We're going to push y'all longer. We ain't going to see y'all. Like, we could be on Facebook doing all this. They going to shut that off. They ain't going to see that. But one thing I know for certain, and two, we know it, they protect their own.
Absolutely.
They protect their own. A mother drove a son with a whatever type of rifle during lockdown. She drove him with the gun. Drove him to the rally. Dropped him off. He out there shooting people. He walked in court. Mama took him to it. They protect their own. And this is why I feel like we have to, every time we have to explain just how violated you can be. Mm-hmm. Oh, they'll violate everything you stand for, everything that you think country, and they be like, why don't they feel patriotic? Why do I see why you feel what you feel? Not saying, but we cannot give that to them because we are the head. We are the head. Mm-hmm. I don't listen. I don't no white man hold me from getting nothing.
No,
they ain't
at all.
I know too many opportunities and too many things. So I just hate the fact that we have to prepare our kids. That's why I tell my kids, you're striving in Harrisburg. Mm-hmm. You strive anywhere. Right. You can strive anywhere.
You can strive anywhere.
We don't got to run out. And I get if you want to move because you're making money, you want a nice house, and there's not too many nice houses around here because I get it. When you don't want your house to be nice, and then you look over at your neighbors and they got the couch and the car broken down, and all the shit on the porch, and they just walking in there.
How you know?
Oh, that's what they do. Oh, I live near some. Oh, that's what they do.
How you know?
That's what they do.
And I'm going to say this, and this is a credit to Harrisburg. My daughter went to Lingelstown Middle School.
Okay.
From Harrisburg. She was only ever in Harrisburg. And this is what we got to understand. When we moved out there, my daughter went to Lingelstown. And she was performing above grade level. You know, they little PSSAs. She was performing above grade level. And why do I say that?
Yeah.
Because she was educated in Harrisburg.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, she was educated in Harrisburg, but parent involvement is a big piece.
Yes.
Absolutely. You know, because I was present.
Absolutely.
And when it comes to our education, we're not playing.
Yeah.
But do not underestimate what is possible for our young people to get here in the city, education-wise. We just need everybody on board.
Everybody. Yeah,
we need everybody on board. They had an event yesterday, you know, Cougar Community Day, amazing. Okay. And one of the things that I saw, and this man is always giving out books through his organization, white man. And I had the privilege, and I'm going to post a picture later. There's two black boys he's talking to, and they wanted to pick up this comedy type book to read. Okay. And he literally picks up this book and shows them, and it's full of black people.
Right.
And he's telling them, get this book, and he's paging through it. They went on to something else. Yeah. That's the kind of stuff, like, you know what I mean?
I remember being there. I remember being there because my grandpa would really try to, like, educate me heavily on black culture, black history.
And that's what this white man was doing yesterday. And I was like, they went to the, you know, jokey books. And I'm like, we gotta,
I mean, but that's something we gotta teach from a early level. Because once they get to a certain level, it is just entertain me. Make me laugh, make me dance, make me smile. Make me horny, make me whatever. It's not. This is where we need to be.
I feel like too that part right there, what you said, it makes them drop the ball because when you get pulled over, you don't know what's going on.
You don't.
When you in situations and the ignorance is blatant, you don't know what's going on, and then next you know it's
panic.
And when you panic in certain situations,
and that's how they get you.
Got to make sure you make it out.
You may lose your life.
You know, so like, and it's a lot of tales. I mean, I want to say it's a lot of different stories we can interpret because maybe, and I'm just saying, maybe them kids' parents wasn't teaching racism, but when you leave a child with privilege to do with the
whatever,
they know they want to exercise their privilege. That's why they felt that it was okay to pull up, and because we know we can't pull up with no pellet gun to some white person's house to come out and play tag.
See how fast everybody get aired out.
I don't.
You getting shot by a neighbor walking with that thing. Somebody shooting you.
You get aired out immediately.
I wouldn't even allow my child to play with a toy gun anywhere in Lower Paxton at any place, anywhere.
Anywhere, period.
Listen.
Especially like nowadays. Like, people don't understand. My son grew up not allowed to play with guns. And I mean, no, they used to look at me at the family function, squirt guns in the summer. I'd be like, no. They'd be like, Tiff, what? No guns. Don't buy him no guns. Like, I was really strict about that. But it's because until he got to the age where he could appreciate it and know what a gun does. Like, you know, I see little kids out and they be like, and I'm like, that don't even, why you don't think that looks cute?
I feel offended even during basketball games when they shooting threes and then they be
But they don't. But again, they don't realize like certain things. They don't realize what it looks like. And when you know, sometimes there are some kids who love to be corrected.
Yes.
Yesterday, I had kids who, they want to take pictures in front of the backdrop, and they throwing up. And I said, not in front of that backdrop.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I was like,
Word.
and the one young man, he was like, it's just a peek. Not in front of that backdrop. You won't.
Like,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and it was funny because you just ask them and you tell them your reason,
right?
Because that may mean that to you, to somebody else seeing it, and I'm just asking you to respect what PosiTiff stands for.
Right.
And these kids, they did it, but it was a conversation. They was ready. I was like, you can't do that.
That's all it ever is a conversation.
It's a conversation.
Most of the time, that's all it ever needs to be.
It's a conversation.
I be feeling like, I don't know who I'll be scared of myself. Because sometimes I'll be like, I mean, I know I probably look like that too, but I'll be like, it's just how we look. But I just like,
and sometimes it is.
It is. It's just how we look.
Because
I feel like sometimes I gotta turn down. I gotta turn down my energy.
I feel like that all
places because I know. Listen,
you the biggest blackest person ever.
I hate turning down my energy. I hate turning it down.
Sure.
But in certain places, I turn it down, man. I gotta turn it down because then when I see that it is okay. And I'm in
I don't even say I turn it down.
That's what I was going to say.
I rock with it. I flow, but don't make me switch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm cool. Like, I'm going to come here and be polite. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I might code switch a little bit. I ain't going to lie. How you doing, buddy? Hey. But, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, listen, don't piss me off.
Coming back to y'all, I realized why this 2 weeks was long. Because, not just, but this 2 weeks, because I was thinking about that this morning. I was looking at, some different photos, change the hair, just, and it's crazy because you going into certain spaces, there is a new version of you that needs to show up.
Yes.
And no matter what that new version physically may look like, internally, you got to bring that same energy.
Yeah.
You may not be comfortable in that space, but you bring that same energy, just what you're going in there. Listen, I got the purple Jordans. And, I wear that certain places when it's like yesterday. But then I know certain business meetings, certain places that I'm speaking, I'm going to dress appropriately.
I have to go through y'all to get what I need. Yes, absolutely.
But I'm not going to change me.
Yes, I got you.
You know what I mean? Like, the energy's not going, y'all still going to get all the heat no matter where I'm at. It's just a matter of how it's delivered.
I gotta bring it to you.
Yes,
I get you ready.
Yes, I gotta.
Bust your head.
I gotta.
Once you get them warmed up,
once you get them warmed, and they're like, "Oh, she's safe." But I feel the same way too, going into places.
For sure.
Where I don't know if y'all ready for this. Are y'all a safe place for me?
Yes.
Because are you going to accept what it is I'm about to say?
Right.
These conversations.
Yes.
And everybody, again, we think it's just, us to them, it's them to us too. It's them to us too. But again, it's just more common that, like you said, it's acceptable to them. So when you say they protect their own, I'm going to ask, is this community going to continue to protect this young man's memory?
Right.
Yeah. And protect this memory and protect us.
And protect us. That was an eye opener.
I be mad, man. I do. I feel like I'll be angry about it. I'll be angry. I'll be angry at our ignorance. I don't even be on. Listen, the oppressor. He is who he is.
Right.
Whoever that black, white,
I know him when I see him. I'll be for us though, man. We have to culturally wake up. We have to wake up and really understand the essence of who we are, man. I am.
Who represents us? So as you look around, don't look at me like that.
I'm like, who is it?
But I think that's another reason why we can't figure
that's
this
the
out.
Problem.
We can't figure this out because we there's the leadership. There is a lack of it.
But there's
that
a
looks
lack
like
of leadership.
Us that is uncompromised and uncompromising.
I'll wait.
Not a dollar.
I'll wait.
Not a dime.
I'll wait.
You know what I mean?
I mean, it may be somebody out there, but they ain't never gonna let them see the light of day, and we ain't never gonna hear about it.
And then, like I'm reading this book, like it's crazy, and it shows through history, like even those that have come in some form to add to or regulate, whatever you want to call it. I mean, previous past, like, we killed them.
Where's our modern day Martin Luther King?
We're
blowing that down.
We'll never have another Martin or Malcolm ever
They're blowing down.
I won't say never again.
And then, so here's the thing. I always say this though. They're at the time, so we're still in those times, because at that time we hear it now. They wasn't received.
No,
like,
not
they
at all.
wasn't received. Even with Martin Luther King, he was not even supposed to be on Washington. Somebody got bumped out, so that's how he got in the spot. Even talk. You know what I mean? So he came off that with "I Had a Dream" off the cuff.
He freestyled that joint.
He went in. So it happened to be, hey, do you mind? You got a couple words, and then it went to, because we wasn't even really invited to the cookout. Like, we happened to be there because that's but it was that moment. So it created a moment. But he was rejected by his own kind in Atlanta until he was trying to get them riled up and pay attention to what was going on with us before he even got to Birmingham. So they were ignoring him, and even there they were ignoring him. They had to stage that whole thing to get people to pay attention to what was going on to us, because the world in other places, and it's still like that. I can't see that out my window. So people that's up here in the city, like, because even Harrisburg kids were affected by it. Like, the kids, my kids was coming home talking about, the kids know about it, whatever rendition of the story. But it's a thing where we, in this moment, like the things you're doing, even if it's not being received, it's not for now. Because like it's for, so we're building and we're leaving imprints that have to sustain, and it's going to have to take us taking these. See, in order for me, this is what I believe. You got to get knocked upside your head by being different and standing against your own kind, to the point where you're going to stand and nobody's standing with you. Like that, it's just going to be that way. But if you think they're going to grasp it, because now they don't got the shiny cat. They didn't have the shiny stuff. We got shiny stuff now.
Right.
You ain't rapping. You ain't playing basketball. You ain't. So you were stabbed. They like, you telling sis, pick a man that's going to be. You want to make a man that's going to take care of you. They like, oh, what? That's not what. That's not what my TikTok and my rap. That's not what. So it would, and they have to get the bruises in order to understand, and then they got to come back and be like, she did tell me. He was trying to tell me. Because right now, they are good. We're going to give you this shiny stuff. We're going to give you this app. We're going to give you these phones.
That's the
We're going to play these videos. We're going to dumb down your thinking to where you can't see nothing that's longer than, because your attention span is so short. Like, it's...
And we gonna keep telling you your attention span is so short.
Yes.
That and so everybody's like, my attention span is short. My attention,
and people say it.
You know,
like,
you pay attention to the TV show when you want to sit. You sit there and watch everything else.
So
you know how to pay attention to.
It's we, and I always say this, the people that I see are doing it. It's going to be lonely. You're on an uphill battle. I promise you. You're on an uphill battle, because you can go in there and you can rev them up. They're going to clap when you leave the stage. They're going to do all of that. And I promise you, they're going to walk right out the door and return back to where they were.
And go straight back there.
Like a dog to his vomit. That's what it says.
Oh,
that's where we're at. Because it's only going to sustain you so much. And that's why when I tell people, you praying for your son, get up. Get up. Because until he feels it, you can pray all day long. Ain't nothing going to change that man until he go through the lessons. The only thing you can do is hope that he gets it and he grasps it, and you tell him. Because other than that, man, I promise you, it's an uphill battle. It's not like when they were hosing and they were doing, we got shiny stuff now. Oh, you want a chain? Oh, you want this? Oh, the rappers got this.
All you gotta do is this.
Oh, you gotta be on Instagram all day long and get a couple for the likes, and be on there all day long in order to make this money. They programmed you that you think you gotta stay on your phone all day dancing and moving around and trying to get likes and comments. That's where we're at. So now we are in trying to get people to sustain and to live and to see who they are. Oh, it's an uphill battle. It's an uphill battle.
It is. I believe it is, but I believe that there are those who want it enough.
Yes.
And we still got to continue to show up. Me personally,
yes.
I believe I went through what I went through back then for now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I personally don't believe that my now is not seen yet. I believe I already been through for my voice to be present now. And I know it's almost time for us to wrap up. If I may share this.
Yes, please do.
I had my retreat in April, and the Friday night at the retreat, there's 8 women in this room, and there was a woman who, she had a stroke 8 years ago. And, with stroke, your language, just different things happen. And she was sharing with us, she just, some stuff was jumbled, and, we were very patient. And she shared with us that she just She wanted to be able to have long conversations again with people. And I jokingly said, I said, you've been talking for 5 minutes. And she was like, I have? And I was like, yeah. And I go to church with her. And she said, before she had this stroke, she said, you remember I used to pray. She used to pray as a part of our Sunday program. And she said, I just want to get back to praying again. I said, well, pray.
Oh, I know that's right.
I said, tell Pastor. And that was second week of April. And it wasn't my responsibility to, reach out to Pastor. Hey, she wants to pray.
Right.
I had to leave that to her.
Yes.
And she prayed us out that night.
Okay.
4 words was all she could get out.
Okay.
I go to church today, and I just want to leave us on a high.
Okay.
She said, I hugged her. She came up to me, she hugged me. She been wearing her PosiTiff shirt everywhere on social media. And I hugged her. I said, remember, don't forget the assignment.
Right.
And she said, I'm praying on the 3rd Sunday of this month.
Right.
Okay.
God.
Right.
Okay.
And I said something to her husband, and he was like, oh, she didn't tell me. And he said, thank you for your retreat. Oh, I sat there bawling.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what's up.
Oh, I said, people will get it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
People will get it.
One by one.
My God, I was sitting there. Come on, God.
Come on.
That's the impact we have in our spaces.
Yeah. I'm gonna burn it down. You better know
Listen,
it. Yes, absolutely.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what we got to realize. That one area that we can touch, that one person that we can impact.
Right.
It just takes one.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
And we're going to create a firestorm.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to. And it was, and I do what I do, and it's not me.
Right.
It's the assignment.
Yeah. And I do want to say we're not angry.
No, we ain't angry. Yeah, we ain't angry. We're passionate.
Passionate. We bring. No, I don't know if we're saucy, but
no. Passionate.
I don't want to be saucy.
Passionate.
No saucy.
What was the word that one was sexy that day? I said sexy. You said it was
not spicy.
Yeah.
Was it spicy?
It was spicy.
Spicy. I don't want to be spicy today either.
You want to be spicy?
No, I don't want to be spicy or saucy today.
Spice Daddy.
No Spice Daddy today. Spice Daddy on the run.
Spice Daddy on the run.
And yeah, we
had time. I want to know, because you're the expert. Like, what do you think about these rap debates?
I'm the expert. Right now I got Kendrick up, but Drake, you know what I mean? Not just because he just keeps dropping shit. Drake dropped the joint on Friday. That joint was fire. But at the end of the day, I think the dark skinned guy is just gonna keep.
Until you start talking about kids.
Yeah, I was like,
this. I feel like that makes racial tension, and we going.
It definitely, and that is exactly what it is, because even though I think us as black people, we do have a different levels, and you kind of, depending on how a mixed kid acts, you like, he act more like his mama, or, if he act like the black side, you like, he black. If he act like his mama or the white side, you like, oh, that's a white kid.
Why can't his mama be black and his daddy be white? That don't be happening.
Right.
It do be happening in the commercials.
No, that's more common than you think.
Listen, is it? I guess
that white man. Sit your nigga ass down.
Well, I can't. Damn. Listen, I can't even front. My sister is married to a white man.
How's that go for her?
She's still married to this white man. I shout out to my niece. Thank you for tuning in. Quit the Cat Podcast. It's your boy BP alongside the Bishop and PosiTiff. Until next time. Peace. Peace to the gang, and welcome to Quit the Cat Podcast.